Welcome back to Chosen Life. Welcome back, Chosen Ones. Lesson 67, Understanding. Welcome back, Chosen Ones. Lesson 67, Understanding. Here's a different change of perception here. No black screen, but a tree covered in thorns. What do you think happened to that tree to make it cover itself in thorns? Was it abused, mistreated, left without anyone to shield it, not shown how to protect itself? So it creates thorns all around it. Until you get higher and higher, it looks like there's less thorns. You look at how many thorns are down here at this level. I mean, obviously, if someone's 6 foot, they can touch it. But as you get up higher, there's less and less thorns. It needs to protect itself more when it's down here at eye level. Okay, so look at how there's all these thorns at a certain level. This is to keep you from leaning up against a tree. This is to keep you from touching the tree. This is to keep you from cutting down the tree or doing something to the tree. If you get up here, notice how high up there. Do you see any thorns? This is the same tree going all the way down to where all these thorns are. That reminds me of a chosen one's journey. Maybe not the beginning. Maybe we start up here. Less thorns. And we go through more and more and more crap that we have to deal with until we end up here, thorny, bitter, tired of the bullshit, tired of the crap. So we build these thorns around us to keep ourselves safe, to keep ourselves hidden, to protect ourselves. I've seen so many chosen ones speak about how they don't go outside, and that's the reason why they don't go outside, because they don't want to deal with attacks, people harassing them. They don't want to deal with people harassing them, so they give up their life. Because truly, what life is it having to deal with someone harassing you every time you step outside, right? So much life. They don't allow people to get close to them, because if they allow people to get close to them, then they risk getting hurt. They risk getting betrayed again. And I'm sorry to say this, but they are actually right to some extent. Because the thing is that if you keep going a certain route where you just keep trusting people, then you can get hurt. But what if that was to change and you were actually able to build a solid foundation on what relationships are acceptable in your life? And if anything came about, then you have boundaries in place to remove those relationships immediately, not to ignore any red flags. You control what you allow in your life based on who you are. A chosen one that doesn't wish to go away from their foundation that they have built to keep themselves safe and to remain steadfast in their faith, or to remain steadfast in their own identity. their own authenticity. So the thorns, when we build thorns around us, as this tree had did, we might keep the nice trees that want to come around us away from us. We might stay in the shade where we don't get the sun that we need to grow further. This tree is not as tall as a lot of the other trees, but it also has grown pretty tall, as you can see. But what if we started all the way up there and, like I said, and we come down here and this is where we end up with thorns? I think that we're all in danger of this. There's been some videos that have truly scared me recently in regards to the chosen ones that won't be saved. I mean, you would think we have to lose our life and go through so much pain. This life is truly HELL for a chosen one. So we have to go through all this, and then we still have to go through, possibly go to HELL too. It's not fair, is it? No, it's not. So here's the thing I think that we all need to learn, and this is going hand in hand with Lesson 66. While I agree with some portions of Lesson 66, here's the flip side. We only have our own understanding. A lot of us have never read the Bible before. A lot of us don't know that there was an example left to follow. We don't know that. And if we're not taught that, how will we know? So how can we be held accountable for something we don't know? It's my understanding and what I've heard, if I'm true in speaking this, that I believe that Pastor Gino Jennings has referenced in church that if you're ignorant of something, you're not held accountable for it. That if you don't know something, then you can't be held accountable for it. So a chosen one's journey is very difficult. We don't really have any guidance to fall on. But the disciples of Christ don't have any guidance either. I mean, there's a lot of references that I've heard in church and I've seen in the Bible about people not having anyone to guide them, and that we're scattered, God's people. So I think that it becomes a very difficult journey, even more for a chosen one to be able to have to lead and not know what that looks like. And furthermore, get themselves through things so they can lead. And so what do? We lean on our own understanding. We're isolated, so we can't speak to anybody. What if we were isolated so we couldn't tell others how to live, so we wouldn't have everybody being guided by our own words? But we're speakers as well, so I don't know. What if we are isolated only to protect ourselves, so when we come out of hiding, we can actually have had learned and used our time wisely and learned about God? What if we were isolated because we were just being protected? I don't know. But there's a lot of unanswered questions about our journey. There's a lot of things that are not known currently. It's the unknown that we're in. I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know if we should actually look at any of us failing either. I think that we succeeded because we stood even when we were meant to go through things that would make anybody fall, including us, but we were built to not fall. And the sun's still shining upon us because we're still standing and we still have faith that we can make it, even if it's not faith in God yet. Even if it's just faith in ourselves until we can figure out who God is, until we can figure out where we need to go from here, if we want a relationship with God or not. I know I do. I'm not trying to push that on anybody because it's your decision. I just know what I want, and that's it. I've had a lot of interruptions recording this audio guide. I don't think the devil wants this to be displayed. Sun's shining right on me. It was shining over there, at least now it's shining right on me. Um, so I'll take that as a good sign, I hope. um, One thing I want to say, though, that even though we don't know, we have a choice to make decisions based on our own free will to make decisions, and we shouldn't allow anybody to take that choice away from us. I know I want for my brethren to find God, but it doesn't matter what I want. I can't make that choice for you. I won't force that choice on you. I won't push that choice on you. I say that with fear because I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm trying to do, because I'm not. So I think that while we shouldn't lean on our own understanding, I think until we know how to walk, talk, think, respond, act, do all the things that we do in our everyday life, until we know how to do each and every one of those things the way God left the example behind and choose to learn, we continue doing as we would do. So if we know how to respond to a certain situation, say someone comes up and says, hey, you disrespectful person for listening to the word of God or whatever, until you know how to respond to that the way God would respond to it, you continue responding to it the way you would, but try to do the right thing if you can, if you choose to. That's your choice. Until you know how to tie your shoes the correct way. I'm just leaving this kind of like broad and just vague because I don't know what any of this looks like. Until you learn how to do a specific act, any known thing that you do each and every day, even if it's learning how to read the Bible, wow, they are persistent. They do not want me to record this. There's been several planes that have flew over my head. Very odd behavior as I'm trying to record this. And I've paused it so many times and it's delayed me so many times. Stuff I can't control, but it's like I'm so tired of having to pause this audio guide. They do not want me to record this, guys, because I'm onto something. They're trying to distract me so I don't continue saying what I need to say. I think, in my personal opinion, if I'm allowed to say so, that you should keep doing what you're doing, exactly what you're doing, until you figure out the correct way of doing so, if you wish to change your ways, if you wish to learn how God did things. But at the same time, it gets tricky because if we don't understand the Bible, then how can we do that too, right? So I'm going to leave behind to you guys Pastor Gino Jennings, link to his channel that was created. I believe he's led by God. I believe that's God's channel. and I believe that's God's church. I don't trust any other pastor out there. I haven't went to church, I don't know, like years and years. I have very little time that I have spent in a church in my life. Probably less than a month worth. I mean, maybe, to be fair, less than a year worth. Just in case I'm discounting anything. And so, just to make it plain, I've not went to church very much in my life because I just thought all the pastors were fake. Apparently, I wasn't the only one. But Pastor Gino Jennings is actually real, and I'm going to leave that in the description box for you guys. If I don't, if it's okay, I would like to make a suggestion, just based on my own newfound understanding. But you can choose if you like to follow this. I would take everything you read in the Bible and look it up on Pastor Gino Jennings' channel because he has a solid